So, Big Paw has given me a lot of stuff to think about. Yesterday, he offered me a Chevy 327 motor. I guess it was originally in a Corvette. And with most of the major parts and things, if I wanted it. So, I thought about it, and I asked him some questions about it and said, if you want to know more about it, look at the videos, my older videos, when I worked on a similar engine, something that he had put a lot of time, thought, and money into putting together, basically from scratch. So I got through about 8 of his videos, and I sat back, all drenched in terminology and name brands and parts and things like that, going, wow, I've got a blank slate as far as what the next motor is, and I have no idea how to draw that picture, other than, say, the idea I had in mind before was a Chevy small block 350. Okay, well, there's still endless possibilities you can do with that. That's a very flexible platform, very modifiable. And I have no idea how to evaluate or make decisions about, well, what kind of carb you're going to get. I don't know. So I'm thinking now, after seeing the kinds of decisions that he made and work that he had done to the engine modifications from scratch, that in order to come up with my own decisions, I would like to have some more experience and a whole lot more knowledge under my belt before I start saying, I want that, I don't want that, and knowing what all those decisions mean as far as, when you change one variable, well, why don't you mount that on the other side of the engine? What that means in terms of time, cost, other parts, performance, what all the variables are. So something that I've been thinking about since I had made the decision to put in a bigger engine after this one, I realized that when I was taking this engine out, even though I was carefully labeling things and making diagrams and drawings and stuff of where things connect to and what they are, what they, all that stuff, I had it in the back of my mind that, well, if I'm going to replace this motor, then I don't really have to worry about being all that careful. So, introducing the notion of you can be sloppy with this or stupid with this because you're just going to be throwing something else in anyway. So, I think something I'm going to do, I say I think because I keep changing my mind, to make me more responsible, more intentional about this motor is take it out, have it all stripped down, clean it, and paint it, and do all that other aesthetic stuff I was going to do to it originally, and put it back in the car and make sure it runs. If it runs after I've done all that stuff to it myself, then I think I've learned something. I should have learned something through putting it all back together, or taking it apart, cleaning it, putting it back together. I should have learned a bunch of stuff then. Then the next option after that, if I prove that I can take the engine out and clean it all up and make it pretty, put it back together and it runs, well then maybe the next step after that would be how much performance can we get out of that engine? So, making modifications with a limited set of variables, you're going to be working with this engine. Okay, maybe I have machine work done to it or something, have it bored out or other options like that. But at least then I'm limited to the number of variables that I have to consider. And maybe also, therefore, limited in how much money it's going to cost to get performance out of this platform, out of the straight six. So, and that would be an interesting exercise in creativity and learning, research, and getting the parts and installing them and stuff like that. But get more ideas about tuning and, like I said, the variables, and then apply that knowledge to the replacement motor. That will be the ballsy one. That will be that one will have the startling power. Could be that I get startling power out of this one, and then I would be perfectly happy. I've had some encouragement in that direction, actually. Stick with the straight six. You can do all kinds of things with that and get some decent power out of it. So I would say that the straight six is also a very forgiving platform, very durable. And it would also be original to the car. If I got all that performance out, I could be, hey, and it's still the original motor. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. Instead of just making a big leap for the finish line, hey, hot rodded up Nova, I'll use this as a learning platform. So, wow. Bodywork, painting, and now mechanical. It's a lot of stuff to do. Just since June, I'm really tackling my comfort zones. Wherever I sense the edge of a comfort zone where I start getting intimidated, that's my cue to jump in and start tackling those questions, those issues, considering doing that work myself. So it's a big learning curve. Now I've got a wonderful car here to work on to do that. She's not in bad shape, and she ran, and she needs some attention, but she's not horrible, and it's not messed up enough so that I'm over my head. I'm over my head as much as I guess I make myself, but just losing the fear. That's it. You can't be afraid, can't be intimidated. For those people that might come into the garage behind me or their skill level behind me, I think there might be a 6th grader out there watching or something whose skill's less than mine. But if there's anything that I can bring here to the garage, it's if there's something that you're intimidated about, and that's the only thing holding you back, then just stomp through it. And that gets easier with practice. Sometimes it takes practice to recognize, well, I'm not doing this because it's outside of my comfort zone, that kind of thing. We rationalize all kinds of fears, why we shouldn't or can't do something. And if fear is the only thing stopping you, then I would say that's something that you should explore, something you should think about. And, well, we'll see. I mean, so far I've learned a lot, and it hasn't cost me a lot of money. So, but I'm at the point where, things aren't costing a lot of money right now. That'll be later, getting paint and a compressor, stuff like that. But, I can do that. Slowly, I can do that. So anyway, kill your comfort zone.